it won't be enough for Meghan and it won't be enough for Harry. And she will just go off, and her next step is a billionaire. Because she's got millions, so why not step up to a billionaire?
People who are extraordinarily rich for quite a long time now, and I don't know whether they're not interested in her or she hasn't fancied them, but she's still hanging on.
Harry to marry a billionaire and eventually fulfill her goal of becoming the governor of California.
There was a time when Prince Harry was the golden ticket. He could walk into any event and instantly command the room. With his cheeky grin, easy charm, and that laid-back swagger, he made royalty feel relatable. The jokes, the self-deprecating humor, the ability to laugh at himself, it was a mix people couldn't resist. Even the press, notorious for tearing royals to pieces, gave him a lighter touch. Harry wasn't just accepted, he was adored.
The two cultures which came together in the marriage of Harry and Meghan, there's a fault line down the middle of it. And I feel that will crack one day. Think about it.
He could play polo all day and do whatever he wanted. He was the prince of contradictions. A soldier who served on the front lines, yet the same man slipping out of clubs at 3 in the morning. Born into unimaginable privilege, but somehow managing to come across as approachable. Harry was the royal everyone thought they could grab a beer with.
From this very busy world of the royal family with lots to do, even in his spare time he could play polo and do whatever he wanted.
But fast forward to today, and that same prince now walks into rooms and feels the chill. The world that once couldn't get enough of him is now pretending not to notice him at all.
Role, where is my work? And I think that will wear thin in time. As Meghan rises in Netflix firmament into whatever she will do, fashion, beauty, whatever.
The first real signs of trouble didn't come from the royals. They came from Hollywood. When Harry and Meghan first landed in California, the A-listers couldn't get enough of them. Power couples wanted photos, producers wanted deals, and everyone wanted to say they'd had dinner with the Sussexes. They were the hottest ticket in town. The royal rebels turned Hollywood darlings.
Jam,
politics,
wine,
maybe?
Politics,
Yeah.
marry well, eventually.
But by 2025, that shine has worn off. Quietly, without press statements or dramatic declarations, the invitations dried up. Harry's name stopped showing up on guest lists. Events where he was once front and center now went ahead without him.
I felt that Meghan didn't actually love him and didn't really care for him.
Publicists started advising their clients stay away, not because Harry was scandalous, but because he was unpredictable. Nobody wanted to be the next story in his book or podcast. A casual dinner conversation with Harry could end up immortalized in a documentary. And for image-obsessed Hollywood, that's a risk no one wants to take.
Is what she said, and of course she's spot on. She just has used Harry as somebody she should tell what to do.
Producers and insiders have been even more blunt. One reportedly called him the exiled royal who won't stop talking. Another shrugged and said, he had a shot, he blew it. These aren't haters, these are the same people who once tripped over themselves to call him a friend. Now they act like he doesn't exist. If Harry is quietly unraveling, Meghan is the one simmering with fury. This isn't how she pictured the story unfolding. The California dream was supposed to elevate them into a new kind of royalty. The Hollywood elite, power, influence, brand deals, endless applause. Instead, what she's watching now is her carefully built empire starting to crumble.
Don't go too well together, do they? But I remember very clearly, it wasn't long ago.
Behind the polished smiles and carefully posed photos, insiders say she is livid, furious that the empire she tried to build around their names is slipping through her fingers. Furious that the same man she risked everything for her husband, her partner, has somehow become the weak link pulling it all apart.
Women want to marry very, very rich men because they'll have loads of money to buy clothes and a lovely house and they don't have to wash up and all that sort of gathering, actually. And if you want lots of money, then you're after them in a very different way. And I'm sure she can charm people at the beginning, but if they stay quite long with her, like we have in this country.
She isn't the type to wait around for a comeback. Meghan has always been about control, optics, and strategy. And now with the world slowly turning its back on them, she's allegedly shifting gears. Not just rethinking their public brand, but rethinking Harry himself. Insiders whispered that she's already taking meetings alone, cutting deals that don't include his name, and exploring ventures where Harry doesn't fit. Some even claim she's building alliances with new powerful figures, Hollywood executives, investors, maybe even someone new on the romantic front.
Friends, personally, is that I don't think that Harry had any clue that somebody potentially close to his wife spoke privately to Omid Scobie about the alleged royal racist that ended up in Endgame.
Whether that last part is truth or just tabloid smoke doesn't matter. In Meghan's world, perception is everything. And right now, her body language is screaming solo.
Instinct that Meghan Markle, in my opinion, could be behind the leak. We saw a string of glorious, gorgeous images of Catherine, the Princess of Wales, at Wimbledon.
For Harry, that realization is a dagger because the woman who once said she'd stand by him no matter what may already be plotting her escape route. When the silence in Hollywood grew unbearable, Harry made a move that surprised everyone. He went back to the UK. It wasn't about nostalgia. This wasn't a trip down memory lane to reconnect with the land that once adored him. No, this was survival, a desperate attempt to prove that he still mattered.
Example of someone close to Prince Harry doing something behind his back.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I do think Harry has said that it was.
But here's the twist. Insiders claim it wasn't even Harry's idea. Meghan allegedly pulled the strings. Every handshake, every photo, every speech pre-planned by her team, from the events he attended to the people he was accidentally seen with. It was all a carefully mapped out mission to make Harry look relevant again. Only it didn't work.
We now see they don't. So anybody who's got a nerve in their head.
The reception was cold. Royal aides treated him like an invited guest, not a son returning home. Courteous smiles, polite nods, but no warmth. The kind of politeness that hurts more than outright rejection.
Be careful, watch out.
Indeed. Angela, it was also really interesting how Paul Burrell...
His old friends weren't much better. Men who once drank with him, played polo, and shared inside jokes now kept conversations short and surface level. Some skipped the events entirely, others showed up without their wives. Apparently, no one wanted to risk becoming Netflix content.
sort of spoke about what he believes Harry saw in Meghan when they met. And obviously, you were still writing your biography of Harry around that point, so I'm interested to know your take. But just watch his first, and then I'll get you to react.
Instinct that Meghan Markle, in my opinion, could be behind the leak. We saw a string of glorious, gorgeous images of Catherine, the Princess of Wales, at Wimbledon. We saw, oh my God, Prince William on a polo horse.
Yeah.
You know, we just saw this really great, and we're not talking about the horse.
Harry smiled for the cameras. He delivered a speech about unity and service. His words polished and precise, but anyone watching closely could see it. The spark was gone. The man who once lit up a crowd looked like he was reading lines written for him. And that's because he probably was.
To know your take, but just watch his first, and then I'll get you to react.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell you.
While Harry tried to smile his way through the cold halls of London, Meghan was nowhere to be seen, and that absence wasn't accidental. It was calculated.
Saw this really great week of Wales watching, the children and everything, and I think that Meghan Markle is envious.
Instead of standing beside him for the cameras, she was photographed in California. Coffee in hand, sunglasses on, sitting across from a well-known Hollywood executive, she wasn't hiding. She was glowing, relaxed, effortless.
His ear. A 36-year-old mature woman whispered into his ear, "Harry, you and I could change the world." And I don't think he heard Meghan's voice. I think he heard his mother's voice.
The timing was brutal. Harry was across the ocean struggling to prove he still belonged. Meanwhile, Meghan was dropping hints about new beginnings and exciting opportunities. Social media lit up. Was she signaling a solo rebrand or something far more personal?
Scupper it, doesn't she? Because she knows if he goes back to the royal family, it's curtains for her. But keeping
that's
him
an
away.
interesting point, Ash. Could it be, as Kinsey is suggesting, and I think there's a lot of reason to believe that Kinsey is right.
For those watching closely, the message was clear. Meghan didn't need Harry by her side to stay relevant. In fact, her absence made a louder statement than if she had flown to London with him. It raised questions that Harry couldn't escape. Why wasn't she there? Why wasn't she supporting him during what was clearly a fragile moment? Some insiders believe it was a test, a way to see if Harry could stand on his own, prove that the world still cared about him without her carefully staged presence. Others think it was pure optics, Meghan wanting to show she had her own lane, her own power, her own future.
I think he heard Meghan's voice. I think he heard his mother's voice. And that's what he was searching for. He was searching for the love which he had with his mother.
Either way, the contrast was impossible to miss. Harry looked managed, strained, almost desperate. Meghan looked free, and that's when the whispers about her next move began to sharpen.
Well, there's a sort of a link there, but let me tell you, she had loads and loads of perfume that Diana.
The family frost was unmistakable. William kept conversations clipped, almost rehearsed, like he was speaking to a colleague instead of a brother. Kate offered polite smiles, but her body language screamed distance. Even the cousins, usually Harry's safe zone, seemed cautious, eyes darting, words measured, like they'd been briefed on what not to say. It was a reminder. Harry wasn't just a son or a brother anymore. He was the liability who aired their secrets on Netflix, the wild card who wrote the book that burned bridges.
That Diana wore. And he was absolutely astonished that she loved that perfume just like his mother.
The contrast outside the palace was just as brutal. Cameras caught Harry walking alone, his hands stuffed deep in his coat pockets, his face lined with exhaustion. Commentators called him isolated, unwelcome, and pitiful. Pity began to creep into the headlines, never a good look for a man who once wore a uniform and carried himself as the people's prince.
Harry, obviously this meeting was carefully arranged. It's got to be stressed. It was supposed to be very early day talks about the possibility of a thawing of the Arctic feud between Harry.
When Harry touched down in California, the fairy tale reunion the public expected simply wasn't there. There was no Meghan waiting at the airport with her polished smile. No children sprinting into his arms for that picture-perfect moment. Instead, Harry slipped quietly into Montecito, head down, his arrival captured only by long lenses and whispers of loneliness.
Add that 1 and 1 equals 3,000, and it's ridiculous. She did it on purpose, of course, I'm sure of that. But with the other thing, Meghan was very, very cunning.
Rumors soon spread that Meghan wasn't even in town. She was seen at events in Los Angeles, dining with industry elites and making appearances that radiated independence.
A lot about that, because Harry said, I know that up in the sky, my mother is still looking after me and telling me what to do.
Insiders call it deliberate distance. They say Meghan is carefully building a narrative of separation, solo trips, red carpet appearances without him, and well-timed absences that leave Harry lingering in the shadows.
Between Harry and his family, especially his dad, Tobin Andre, is the king's most trusted courtier. And for that, you can take it to the bank. It wasn't Tobin and it wasn't the king. And I suspect that Kinsey's right. I bet it wasn't Harry.
For Harry, the sting cut deeper than the icy stairs in London. In Britain, he knew his place. Unwelcome, but at least acknowledged. Back home, it was harsher. Silence carried its own story.
Yes, I can see that. And it's sort of, I'm not saying the exact conversation, but she was prodding it, that she was feeling what Diana felt.
Behind closed doors, sources say Montecito is tense. Conversations stripped down to schedules, logistics, the children, the warmth that once lit their marriage has cooled into icy detachment.
Pass that on to Harry, and the idiot actually took that for what she was saying, but she kept on bringing in Diana.
And for Harry, already a man without a country, the absence of comfort at home was a wound he couldn't hide. This wasn't mere distance, it was strategy. And Meghan, as ever, was 2 steps ahead.
It's her control of him. You know, she gets rid of her own family. She doesn't want him get closing up to his family. And he wants that. And he's not, I know he's very stupid, but he's not that stupid that he'd talk about it before. He knew that would scupper it.
She's embracing solo power moves with a precision that borders on ruthless. Every red carpet step, every photo op, every meeting is curated to broadcast independence.
About everything she was saying, how they should move, and what they should do. So that's what actually got him going.
Then came the whispers that lit up social media. The wealthy financier she's been seen with. Maybe a business ally, maybe nothing more. But Meghan knows better than anyone. Perception is everything.
Knew that would scupper it. So it's obviously come from her. We can already see the cracks appearing, and she's nipped that in the bud.
Well, I'll tell you something else, Kingsley. If that's the case, Meghan Maines, or rather Meredith Maines,
And the optics cut deep. A radiant Meghan laughing with a powerful man while Harry is snapped surfing alone. It's the kind of contrast the press devoured.
It doesn't happen like that. He might feel something from his mother, of course, but I feel, and anyone I've spoken to really.
Truth or not, the rumors don't matter. Meghan plays perception like chess. She plants the image, lets the world speculate, then slips to her next move. For her, this isn't survival, it's ascension. And Harry? He's not even in the script.
Meghan was an absolutely awful woman, because don't forget, she did love the royal family, even though she couldn't actually operate in there. She was kind and knew the late Queen very well. She'd go over there for tea, and she was very well behaved.
Where does that leave Harry? Too stripped down for the monarchy, too dim for Hollywood, too tame to fuel headlines. He drifts between worlds, unmoored, with nothing to anchor him.
A big mix, which I blame the grandmothers, because they both knew that Diana had a difficult life as a child.
The Crown brands him a deserter, a liability who traded secrets for streaming deals. Hollywood, once smitten with the Sussex name, has already shifted its gaze. Without Meghan steering the spotlight, Harry cuts the figure of a man adrift, famous for who he was, not who he is.
Must have gone along with it. If she did go along with it, we don't.
Friends whisper about his retreat. Hours vanish on the surf, chasing solitude the palace or Hollywood could never give. Long walks with the dogs, sunglasses hiding tired eyes, head lowered. The fiery, mischievous prince has faded into a man who moves as if he hopes no one notices him.
Hiring her as my publicist, because that was a
This
clunking...
is the same woman that put Prince Harry in front of the BBC cameras hours after.
Was that her?
Yes, she
Oh my
arranged
God.
the BBC.
She's setting him up.
The tension around him is impossible to miss. Every step looks choreographed, every smile rehearsed. But behind the polish, insiders whisper of a man adrift. Without the crown's duty or Meghan's ambition steering him, what remains of Harry is the question he can't seem to answer.
Harry found out that he officially lost his security case against the UK government. That was one of the most detrimental interviews Prince Harry has ever done. Talking about how he doesn't know how much longer his father is going to live.
It's the cruelest truth of all. Harry's identity was never his own. First, the monarchy defined him. Then Meghan shaped him. Now, with both slipping away, he faces a reality he can't escape. He doesn't know who he is alone. Their Montecito palace isn't so golden. It's been cracking for some time. They spend long stretches apart, and the air feels heavy with inevitability. You can almost sense it ending. Meghan doesn't want a partner anymore. She wants a billionaire. And the revelation isn't loud, it's quiet. It eats at him in silence, breaking him piece by piece, day after day. For Harry, the crisis isn't just public. It's deeply personal. and it's only spiraling further.
I didn't realise that.
Yes.
Well, you know, we can nail her for that, because that was a catastrophe, an absolute
Like the Prince
catastrophe.
Andrew interview, maybe she's had something in that, although I think that was
Thanks.
Princess Beatrice.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you for your
So
contribution.
Ash, so there's Harry on his own in Africa now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Angola, isn't it?
The fairy tale that once mesmerized millions is breaking apart. Its seams are unraveling, its glitter turning to dust before the public eye. And here's the haunting truth. Meghan doesn't need to walk away for the story to collapse. The perception of separation is already alive. If the whispers carry weight, Meghan may be halfway out the door already. Her next chapter scripted, her power secured, and perhaps, just perhaps, a new man waiting in the wings.
On his own in Africa now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Angola, isn't it? No sign of Meghan.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about this. Harry must have found out, oh, look, it's all over the front pages. How did that get?